Classic Mode uses your phone's camera feed and lays a transparent picture that you want to draw over that camera feed. If you look at your phone's screen, you'll be able to see the picture that you want to draw and the place where you want to draw it at the same time. This lets you easily trace an image onto any surface. To get started with Classic Mode, you need to suspend your phone above your drawing surface. You can use something like a tall glass, a spray can, or better yet, one of our Vinci Eye phone stands. Links to these stands can be found in the app. If you're using a glass or a can, it's recommended to add a loop of painter's tape to the top and the bottom of the glass, so the phone stays in place when you touch it. If you're a lefty or a righty, it doesn't matter. You can position the phone any way that is easiest for you to draw. Now it's time to position your image on the paper. Press the Move button, and with one finger, you can move the image around. Using 2 fingers, you can enlarge, shrink, and even rotate the image relative to your paper. When you are done positioning your image, make sure to unpress the Move button. This locks your image in place, so you can zoom in to draw fine details, or zoom out to see your drawing as a whole. To adjust the transparency or opacity of the image, press the Opacity button. This brings up the opacity slider. You can move the slider to make the image more or less transparent. You can also switch the opacity on and off using the opacity toggle. Now let's check out some need-to-know features located in the Tools menu. If the camera seems blurry while you're drawing, go to Tools, then Camera, and then you'll be able to adjust the focus manually using the focus slider. To apply image filters, press Tools, then slide the menu all the way over to Filters, then press Filters. From here, you can do things like change your image to grayscale, add posterization, or blur. Next to Filters is the Breakdown tool. This lets you break down your image into layers or steps by color value. For experienced artists, it'll help you analyze the notan or structure and composition of your artwork. For beginners, it turns any image into a draw by numbers project. One of the most powerful tools in the app is the strobe feature. This tool slowly flashes the overlay image on and off. This allows you to easily compare color values of your reference image to your drawing. The last absolutely need-to-know feature is the record button. From there, you can record time-lapse videos of your drawings, just like these. Make sure if you post your time-lapse on social media to tag us for a repost. We're at Vinci Eye on all the social networks. If you need help with anything, press the question mark in the top right corner of the screen. From there, you can watch instructional videos, check out FAQs, or email us. We usually respond extremely fast to questions and feedback. And that wraps it up for our Classic Mode Quick Setup tutorial. For more in-depth videos, be sure to check out the instructional videos section of the app, or browse and subscribe to our YouTube channel, where we have tips and tricks, live streams, and guest artists teaching drawing and painting techniques using Vinci Eye. get started with AR mode, you will need to create an anchor. An anchor locks your reference image in place so you can move your phone or your canvas, and as long as the anchor is in view of the camera, your reference image will align itself back perfectly with what you are drawing. To get started, take a business card-sized piece of paper or larger. Then take a black pen or marker and add lots of squiggles with many intersecting points and different shapes. The more tiny little details, the better the anchor will work. Also, the larger you make your anchor, the further away from your canvas you can have the phone and still have an accurate placement. It's a good idea to tape your anchor in place on your paper before you draw. This ensures that your reference image will always be in the right place. You should be prompted to make an anchor right away. However, if you want to make a new anchor, press Tools, then AR, then Anchors. To upload your anchor, press Add Anchor. Then press the purple button at the bottom of the screen to bring up the camera. Make sure your camera is perfectly level with the anchor. You don't want to have it tilted like this, or else it could distort your overlay image when it's virtually projected on your paper. When you're finished, press Use Photo in the bottom right corner of the screen. Next, you need to crop your photo. Drag the corners of the cropping frame to just inside the edges of your anchor. Make sure there is no background visible. The last step is to measure your anchor. Make sure that it is at least 3.5 inches wide. Take a ruler and measure your anchor's width. Then, type in the width and press Done. You should be brought back to the Anchor Manager screen. Here, you can press Done in the top left corner. Now your image should appear on top of the anchor whenever the anchor is in view of your camera. Do not try and hold the phone in your hand and draw. You can easily make a stand out of objects found around your house, like with tape and a tall spray can, a tall glass, or a vase. You can also purchase an inexpensive stand like this one. A link to stands that we recommend can be found in the app. Now it's time to position your image where you want it on the paper. Use 2 fingers to zoom out so you can see your paper as a whole. Then, press the Move button, and using 1 finger, you can pan your image. Using 2 fingers, you can enlarge, shrink, or rotate the image. When you have the image exactly where you want it, press the Move button again to lock the image in proportion. Now, you can zoom in to draw fine details, or you can zoom out to see your drawing as a whole. To make the image more or less transparent, you can press the Opacity button in the bottom right corner of the screen. You can use the slider to make your image more or less transparent, or you can use the opacity toggle to turn the image on and off. Now let's check out some of the need-to-know features located in the Tools menu. Once you have the phone set up, you can turn off the phone's autofocus by going to Tools, then AR, then Fix Focus. This will also refocus the camera to your paper if the camera is blurry. To apply image filters, press Tools, then slide the menu all the way over to Filters, then press Filters. From here, you can do things like change your image to grayscale, add posterization, or add blur. Next to Filters is the Breakdown tool. This lets you break down your image into layers, or steps, by color value. For experienced artists, it's a great way to help you analyze the no-tan or structure and composition of your artwork. For beginners, it turns any image into a draw by numbers tutorial. One of the most powerful tools in the app is the strobe feature. This tool slowly flashes the overlay image on and off. This makes it easier to see where you've drawn already and where you still need to draw, as well as helping you see what areas need to be lighter or darker. The last absolutely need-to-know feature is the Record button. From here, you can record time-lapse movies of your drawings without the overlay, just like this one. Make sure that if you post your time-lapse videos on social media to tag us for a repost. We're at Vinci Eye on all the social networks. We love to see what people are creating with the app. If you need help with anything, press the question mark button in the top right corner of the screen. From there, you can watch instructional videos on how to use the app, check out our FAQs page, or email us. We usually respond extremely fast and love to hear from artists and aspiring artists using the app. That wraps it up for the quick setup AR mode tutorial. For more in-depth videos, be sure to check out the instructional videos section of the app, or browse and subscribe to our YouTube channel, where we have tips and tricks, live streams, and guest artists teaching drawing and painting tutorials using the app.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Vinci Eye App Live. My name is Charity Low. I am a commissioned portrait artist who loves to work with colored pencils and graphite pencils. But because of what I do... I'm sorry, Jenya, you can't be in here right now. Okay, but because I get, because of the work that I do with the Vinci Eye App, I have some experience with a whole bunch of other different things, like soft pastel, charcoal, pen, marker, watercolor, acrylic, and then also fabric painting, stained glass painting, quilling, and so on and so forth. So my purpose here is to get you started on whatever art journey that you want to work on, and then also teach you a little bit more advanced stuff with portrait work. So yeah, I highly recommend that you draw along with me during these live videos. You can find the reference in the Vinci Eye App Facebook page. Facebook group in the featured posts. So like Vinci Eye App's group on Facebook, and then if you look up the features, you should be able to see the reference. Or you could also find it in my personal Facebook page, Charity Low's Art, also in the featured posts, or you can also find it directly in the app itself. So what you do is you go, well, let me just see. Where did I put my phone? There we go. So let me just see if I can pull this up for you. Sorry, my voice sounds a little different today. So I'm just going to show you where you can find it. So if you're in the app, let me just get this right in the spot here. You go to the top left corner with the 3 lines. Click on that, and then you go to search profile and you type in Charity Low's Art, CHARITYLOWS, and then ART. Okay, there, if you go to the inspirations, you should see a whole bunch of different stencils, but as you scroll down, you should also be able to find the reference that we're working on. So it's right there. You click on it, press draw this, and then I recommend using AR mode for it. So there's that. And then I would also really love to see your artwork. I would love to have it in our future slideshows. I want to see a wide variety of different art styles. Whether even if you're a beginner or professional, it would be really great. I will put your name on your drawings and also tag you in the videos as well. So you just need to send me an email. You can put as many drawings as you want into this slideshow if you'd like. I also take requests, so whether that be a different medium or craft, a different subject or even challenges, I'm willing to do that for you. You just got to let me know. You can send comments and I will mark that down, or you can just email me what you want as well. My email's in the description. And then I also have a promo code to try the app for free for 3 months. If you download this is for new subscribers, which are, so the promo code is charitylowsart, all lowercase, no spaces. So when you download the app, it will say free 7-day trial, skip all of that, and then it'll say promo code, and then you enter in that promo code, and then you should be good to go. So yeah, all that information is also in the description as well, if that's something you're interested in. If you're having any issues whatsoever, you can contact the app developer himself through info@davinciieapp.com, and he is really quick to respond to your questions. And yeah, I also really recommend that you join the Facebook group. There you can interact with other artists who use the app, post your artwork, get feedback if you'd like. I'm there daily, and also the app developer is there too. And then I also host yearly events. Right now we are doing challenges. So I will be posting a challenge every week for 10 weeks. All you need to do is finish 5 out of the 10 challenges to be able to be entered into a draw for a cash prize. So there's something for you to do on there right now. I will also do competitions as well on a yearly basis as well. So that is that. So let's get into the app features. Let me see if I can actually change things, because yeah. Okay, I just have some interesting things going on with my streaming thing that I'm using, so yeah. So I'm going to quickly go over the features. First off, the AR mode. So it uses an anchor, which the black and white design up here would be the anchor. You can make your own, or you can print this one out if you'd like. Let me see if I can find, if you go AR, I'm going to see if it's in this one, because they are doing updates. An anchor. And then at the bottom left corner, you'll see print anchor. So that's how you get the pre-calibrated anchor, so everything is perfectly flat when you use it. So what the anchor does, oh, did it freeze? Okay, there we go. Where's the camera? AR, lock focus. There we go. If it's blurry, just turn it on and off the focus, and then it should fix itself. So there's another good thing about that as well. So it locks onto the anchor. If you have your phone or tablet tilted, it will adjust the tilt so it doesn't look warped when you draw it. Or you can even have your table or drawing surface at an angle if it makes it easier for you to, like, more comfortable for you to draw, which, yeah, everybody's different, so it all works. And then it also, if you accidentally move your phone or drawing surface, everything stays aligned, which I'll show you better on this thing right here. So moving your phone, just make sure the anchor is seen in the camera, and then also if you move your drawing surface. So it's really handy. It will also save your position for future, like, like sessions. So if it's going to take you more than one day, as long as you go into your projects, it will automatically realign for you. Or if you need to take a phone call, then that's a great thing to have as well. Strobe is one of my favorite features. I like to turn up the opacity to its fullest and then turn on the strobe, and then it'll flash back and forth between the reference and your drawing. This way you can see some differences and change them as you need to get a nice photorealistic portrait, if that's something you're into doing. Now, grid is really good for when you're using classic mode and you need to square off the edges so that the image is nice and flat in comparison to your drawing surface. I don't really think it shows up for the AR mode, but that's something that's nice to have. It's also nice if you want to practice the grid method instead of just tracing. So there's that option as well. Flashlight is good if you have poor lighting in your house. It uses the light from your camera, from your phone, so that you can see a little bit better. I do want to let you know that if you're using something that has a bit of a shine, like graphite, it will reflect back to the screen and it will look a lot brighter. Like dark sections will look a lot brighter than they actually are. So I recommend just going and getting like a table lamp. Anything will do, especially if you're just starting out. Breakdown mode is also one of my other favorite tools. What I do is I have cut out off 5 steps in the exposure to the center. And then what it does is it gives you step-by-step stencils by color value. So the first step will be like a very light, like I usually use it for monotone portraits or black and white portraits, watercolor. You do your first light layer all in the colored areas, and as you can see, you can change the colors. And then the next step, you overlap with a darker layer, and then you do another layer that's a little darker, so on and so forth, which will help with practicing your shading. So there's that. Let's turn this off. I might have to, this is the newer version of the app that I don't think is out quite yet, so I have to quickly do something to get it back to color, so just give me a minute. Oh. Leave. There we go. So, yeah. And then let's see, what other tools do we have? Filters is really fun. You can have different texture. You can do reverse color. There's just a bunch of different options there. If you want to get a little bit more in the creative, in a little bit more of a creative mindset, it's not exactly, I don't know. I'm trying to think of words, but I can't think of words. There's just some fun things that you can try just to get a different type of creativity going on. We already did breakdown mode. Record, it allows you to record time-lapse videos, and as soon as the newer version comes out, it will also allow you to record the entire drawing process in real time if that's something that you want. So you can download the tester from the Facebook group, because the app developer had posted the tester link on there. But yeah, right now on the app that is officially out, the iOS can only do time-lapse videos, but it will soon change to full length if that's what you want. So yeah, I think that's about it. Okay, now let's talk about how to pick colors. There are many different methods. How I first started doing colors was I used another app, which with this plus this other app is like paint by number. So it's like, I feel like it's a really good starter to getting used to colors. What it does is you can either make your own palette, or you can choose from the different colored pencil sets that they have preloaded onto it, depending on which version of the app you get. And you just click onto the area you want to draw, and it'll give you all the different colors that you need with some layers. It's not 100% accurate, but again, it'll help you be able to understand a bit more about color theory when doing it that way. But what I do now is I take a blank, I printed off this swatching sheet, and I colored in this rectangles with all of the different colored pencils that I have. One thing I would have recommend for you to do that I didn't do here is go from dark to light, so you can see all of the different shades that you can get, so you can get an even more accurate color picking. And then also right next to it, write the number and the name of each pencil, so you know what you need to use. And then I recommend either printing off a reference so that you can go right on top of it and then start picking out colors that you need. So like for here, get a dark brown. For the scarf on her head, you can do like this really dark blue, so on and so forth. So you can actually just look at what you have and see what you need. Or if you don't have a printer, and you do have like an extra device, you can put your reference into a photo editing app or a drawing app. Let me see, where did it go? Did my daughter delete it? There it is, okay. So here is it in a drawing app, and then you just go to the colors, you go to the color dropper, select the section that you are looking for, and then you can bring it up so you can see the exact color that you want, and then you just compare it to your swatches. So this one would be a mixture of one of the yellows here with like this May green. So there's that way. And I do want to remind you that no matter which method you choose, it is going to be different than another method. So this way, just don't worry too much about it getting exactly the same, because you're not, like if you did it again using a different method, it's not going to be the same as the other one that you did. So you don't need to worry too much about getting the exact colors. So yeah. Just put something back on here. I don't know why my voice sounds kind of strange today. If you guys have any questions throughout the video, don't hesitate to ask, because I am here for you. Okay. I'm not going to be telling you the exact colors that I'm using. I'm going to give you some fairly genetic names for each color, because you're probably going to be using a different pencil set than I am. I also recommend, if you are new to colored pencils, just go ahead and get like a Crayola set. Crayola is fairly good quality for the price, so get used to how to blend with more affordable pencils, and then once you get used to drawing with those, then you can go ahead and invest in a little bit more higher quality pencils. So yeah. I'm going to use the strobe. Just take a look. Strobe. Turn that, oh, we're going to turn the opacity up and then turn on strobe. There we go. This will help me see the differences between my drawing and the reference. And right now we are going to try to finish drawing the lips. I have been collecting all the pencils that I've been using for this portrait into a box. That way I can try to keep into the same colors throughout the face, so it doesn't look like the face is just a whole bunch of different sections that don't match. So I'm going to use this purple color here, and we're going to start building up the shadows. We're doing light pressure and circular motions. And I'm trying to use the side of my pencil so that it has a nice blended look, and you could also avoid pencil strokes. And I think it's really important for the base of the, the base, which I think is just like the lightest color of all of it, is what I call the base. And then the topper layer will be the details, which is, yeah. I don't know what to say. I'm too tired. This. Hello and welcome. I'm just slowly building up those shadows. And if you don't see any sections of the area that you're working on that's lighter than what you're trying to achieve, you don't have to worry about preserving any light spaces quite yet. One thing that you do not see on any of these camera angles is that I am streaming to a TV that's just above my head here, which allows me to get some really big pieces drawn easily. But that is my choice. You don't have to do that. We can add a few details now using that same color. This one is going to be in those highlights. So you can, with using the app, trace exactly where all those creases are if you'd like. But you can do this when you're first starting off doing portrait work. But once you get to the point where you can recreate the idea or like the look of lines and wrinkles and pores and everything, the texture, you can start doing more of like an abstract approach to it, where It's not exactly like the drawing, like perfectly like the drawing, the reference, but you just can mimic it and just have some more fun with it. Does that make any sense? So artwork is kind of like, the art styles are kind of like a circle of like different styles. Like you get the realism, and then it kind of goes to expressionism, and then it starts getting more and more into more abstract, and then it comes back around that when you get to abstract, you can take that skill and use it for texture, because texture is, when it's really close up, it looks abstract. Okay, I think we got that color down pretty good, and I think we can move on to a different color. I see kind of a bluish tone to some of the sections here. So I'm going to pick up that blue, and I'm going to just place it, just some circular motions right where I see it, and it does overlap that purple. And then there's also some in that in the highlights as well. So circular motions and light pressure. And then I also see some really dark red in the shadows as well. It's kind of like almost a brown, very dark, dark red. And right in those really dark lines in her lip, creases. We're just slowly building up the shadows. We're slowly building up the colors. Just take some time. There's also some brown on the top part of her lips, so I'm going to add a little bit of that as well. And we can also add some detail with this brown as well. Just add a few creases. I notice it's quite a bit dark in the center and then kind of fades out a little bit to the edge of the lip, to the corners of the lip. And let's add a few details over top of this, still using that brown, just to get a few of those creases going. And again, you don't have to get them exact. Nobody's gonna know. If you have the skill to be able to mimic the texture of skin, then just go ahead and have a little bit of fun with it. We're getting really close to being able to just finish this off, making this look more like a painting in a minute here. Okay, I think we need to add a little bit of, let me just take a quick look here and comparing to my swatches here. So just give me a minute. Can add a little bit more of like a dark skin tone, a dark tan. And I feel like I just need to do like the general area with this dark tan. So just light pressure and circular motions just to make it slightly darker. And then some black. You need to put a little bit of black in the center of this lip here. A little bit of pressure. If you're doing lines, we can go side to side, but if we're doing sections, then circular motions is good. Okay, first tool I'm going to use for blending is a colorless pencil. The colorless pencil helps push in the color into the little gaps in the paper, making it look more solid. And then it also helps preserve some texture. But there are multiple different ways to do some blending. There are blending markers designed for pencils. You can use hand sanitizer and a Q-tip to blend. Both of those kind of have like a watercolor or a alcohol marker kind of effect to it. You can also do some research on like the type of pencil you have and see what kind of solution you can get, like liquid, and then you can use a paintbrush to kind of help blend it as well. You kind of lose those textures with doing it that way though. So I like to use a colorless pencil or even a white colored pencil or the brightest color in that section. Use that as well. The downfalls to using a white pencil, though, is that everything starts to look more pastel colors. They're not as vivid, but it is an option for you. I'm doing some circular motions and some lines back and forth, depending on if it's going to be the texture I'm working on, or if I'm just trying to fill in that entire space. But you can see how it just fills in all of those white little spaces in that paper to make it look nice and filled in, and it gives it more of like a painted look almost. Now we're doing the bottom lip. So if we're filling in a bigger space, we can do circular motions. If we're just trying to follow or soften up some lines for texture, just go and follow those lines. Just want to clean off the pencil because sometimes it picks up those really dark colors, and I don't want those dark colors in certain areas. So I just rub it against my little clipboard here, and it made a horrible sound, so I apologize for that. Okay, there are a couple of ways to bring up highlights. Not all pencils will allow you to do this method. One is to take a electric eraser, make sure it's clean. I'm just rubbing it against my clipboard again to clean it off. Okay, you can take a electric eraser and you can just go over where those highlights are. And you can pick up some of the pencils. Not all pencils will do this, so do some research before you invest in some pencils to see if that's something that you'd like to do. Or you can just take a white pencil crayon and go over top of those highlights too. Sometimes I like to do both. And then, let's see, is there any more highlights we want to pick up? I want to pick up a little bit in this gap between the top and the bottom lip. Just a little bit. And then I can bring back more by blending it a bit because it is slightly lighter right in there. Not much, but yeah. So now we can take our white colored pencils just to bring up those highlights just a little bit more. So usually these highlights are right next to those dark lines. So that's one thing you need to kind of look at when you're looking at doing hyper-realistic artwork, is just exactly where are these highlights and shadows meeting. Are they meeting on the left, on the right, top, bottom? Just take a look and try to see. So like for example, this one is darker on the right side, and then there's like a bright highlight on the left right next to those dark lines. So I think we're done with the lips. I think, let me see, we're gonna try to do the forehead next. So we'll do forehead, then cheeks, then chin. And usually after that I do the neck, but there's not much showing on the neck. And while we're doing the forehead, I kind of want to do the hair that's just over top of the forehead. So I got these tools. I'm wondering if I have one that will work. This is going to be the first time I'm using these particular tools for this. What these are just like fondant or icing tools for cake decorating. So I'm using these. You can use a empty pen, but you just got to really make sure it's empty. Even if it was working really good for you last time you were doing the a drawing and it wasn't showing any ink while you were using it, just scribble on a piece of paper every time you use it until you can't see it anymore. So I'm going to use the finest tip that I can find. I actually bought this for a couple of different reasons. Let me see. One reason was for preserving lines and in colored pencils, and the other reason was to help hold some long pieces of paper upright for quilling. So let me just quickly test this out because I'm not 100% sure which one will create the finest tip. I just gotta find a blank piece of paper. Where did all the paper go? My art room's full of stuff right now. There's so many projects I'm doing at once. So I'm just going to test this out before I use it. I got a small piece of paper, the same kind of paper I'm using. This will only work on a paper that is thick like Bristol board. So I'm going to just imprint the paper. Let me just show you on here if I can. So this one, just pushing down on the paper. Let's see the other one right next to it. Ooh, that feels a lot smoother. I feel like I'll be able to do some more stuff with that. And then I'm going to use a pencil to go over top of it using the side of the pencil. So there's the one is much thinner than the other, but I don't like the feeling of it. I'm just seeing if which one would be the best size. Let's bring it over here. Is this one okay for sizing? I think this would work pretty good. Now you want to look at the brightest, so I'm using those slightly rounded. Okay. We're going to look at the lightest part of the hair for this. I think a lot of it is either like a cream color, really not necessarily white, cream colored, and a light blue and a light yellow is what I see. There is a little bit of sections that kind of look pink, but if you look at the whitest section, it's actually a cream color. So I don't know how I'm going to create that little bit of red around the edges or if I'm just going to leave that out. So we're going to take a very light cream color and we're just going to go over where those hairs are. Light pressure and circular motions. We're not trying to put a whole bunch in, but we also don't want it to be super, super white because it's not. In reality, it is actually not white. Some other light color. So just circular motions and light pressure. I know you can't see it. I know you do. I know you don't see it, but just trust me. Just trust me on this one. And then we're going to take that light blue, and it's just, the light blue is just on this side right here, it looks like. So right underneath, let me just zoom out a little bit. Just right underneath that curl on the top, that light pressure. And then I think we can add a little bit of gray to kind of make it so that it just blends right in to the darkness a little bit better. So where is the gray? So you can kind of see a lot of that happening like around the curl, like the white kind of fading into the black right underneath the curl, just in some areas here. So let's just take this underneath, we're gonna add the gray underneath can't think of the name of the thing that's on her head, but like the thing that's on her head. We need to add a little bit of gray there just so that that hair doesn't look like it's just levitating over top of it, that it's actually part of her. The scarf. And then we can just slightly fade it out. I think I'm going to add some dark red to this section actually, because it looks more dark red to me. And we're just doing very light layers, nothing super dark. And then a little bit of gray in some areas too. I'm gonna do it right in this dark section. Again, you don't want to get it too dark. Nice and light. Because we're really focusing on the color of the hair. Not anything else, just the color of the hair. Do we need to change the camera on this? Can you see it a bit better now? And then right underneath the scarf, we also need a bit of that gray. Okay, I think I'm just going to do a little bit of a transition between that gray and the white or brighter areas, so it has a nice faded look to it. Okay, now we are going to take that fondant tool with the finest tip we can find, or you can take the empty pen. I'm going to turn off the strobe for now. I'm going to turn down the opacity until I can just barely see the tip of my fondant tool. I want to be able to see that tip. Okay, there we go. Now we can, if we want to, trace every single hair. You do not have to do it this way. But what you're going to do is you're going to push down and follow the direction of where this hair is going. You won't be able to see exactly where you've traced and where you still need to trace. So just do your best to create the texture. Have that curvature, try to stay away from straight lines. You do not need to do continuous lines from the beginning to the end. That one was a little bit too big of a curve, but that's okay. Nobody's gonna know. Again, this method only works with thick paper. You can't do this to printer paper. So I'm using Bristol board or a nice media paper would work too. These hairs are quite sporadic. They're all over the place. You get like this really crimped one right here. It's kind of lonesome. Again, you do not need to get them exactly. You don't need to get them exactly in the same spot. I tell you, every time I draw a piece, there's always something that's challenging to me. And right now, the hair is probably the most challenging. Just coming up with solutions is pretty much where the creativity comes with creating photorealistic artwork, is being able to come up with solutions into creating the same textures as the photo. Now focus mostly on the really bright hairs. Don't worry about the darker hairs that are in deeper than the rest. We can add more of these indents after we add some more color to it. And then just keep doing it. Light hairs, shaded a little bit more. Some darker hairs, shaded a little bit more. And then so on and so forth. And we get some pretty crazy ones that are sticking up. They're just having a fun day, these little hairs. These ones will probably not show up until we start working on the background, but I still want to get them. Yeah, I think I might leave these ones alone. Yeah, I think I might leave them alone for now. We're getting close. Getting pretty close to getting all this done. And again, we're just focusing on the lightest parts, the lightest hairs. That's what we're doing. Okay, I want to finish this section before we take a break. I just really want to get these hairs done, because I want to be able to figure out exactly where I left off, so it's best to just finish it up while we're still here. We're almost done with the hair. Where did the tip of my pen? There we go. I was wondering where the tip of this little thing went to, so I can actually see what I'm doing. Okay, I think we're pretty good. We're going to take a quick break. It's a great time to grab something to snack on, stretch your legs, grab something to drink. And after this short, there's going to be a video playing. So once that's done, we'll continue with what we're doing.
Vinci Eye uses your phone's camera feed and lays a transparent picture that you want to draw over that camera feed. If you look at your phone's screen, you'll be able to see both the picture that you want to draw and the place where you want to draw it at the same time. This lets you easily trace an image onto any surface. To get started, you need to place your phone on top of a tall glass. If your phone doesn't have a case, it might slide around when you touch it. This makes adjusting settings while you're drawing very difficult. To fix this, cut a long piece of tape and fold it into a loop. Place the tape loop on top of your glass, and this will stop the phone from moving around. You can also place a tape loop on the bottom of your glass to stop the glass from moving around. If you're a lefty or a righty, it doesn't matter. You can position the phone any way that is easiest for you to draw. The higher that your phone is positioned, the more of the canvas you'll be able to see and the larger the picture you will be able to draw. Tall aerosol spray cans work great, or you can use one of our Vinci Eye phone stands, which lets you easily adjust the height and position of your phone. Links to these stands can be found in the app.
Now it's time to position the image on your paper. Press the Move button, and using one finger you can pan the image. Using two fingers, you can zoom, shrink, and rotate the image. When the Move button is unpressed, the camera will be locked together with the reference image. This lets you zoom out to see your drawing as a whole, or zoom in so you can draw fine details. To make your image more or less transparent, you can use the opacity slider. Move the slider to the left to make your picture more transparent, and to the right to make it less transparent. If you find that your pencil or paper is blurry as you're drawing, you can adjust the focus of your camera by pressing Tools, then Camera, and then Fix Focus. To record a time lapse, like this one while you draw, press Tools, then scroll all the way to the right, press the Record option, and then press the Record On switch. One of the most powerful tools in the app is the strobe feature. This strobes the image on and off so that you can compare color values and you can see places where you still need to draw. In addition to the multiple filters in the Filters tab, there is also the Breakdown feature in the Breakdown tab. This breaks down your image into layers by color value. For beginners, it turns your photos into a draw by numbers project. Or, for advanced artists, it can help you analyze the structure and composition of what you are about to draw or paint. If you need help with anything, you can always press the help question mark in the top right-hand corner of the screen. From there, you can watch instructional videos, check out our frequently asked questions, and even email us. We usually respond to emails extremely fast, and we love to hear from artists and aspiring artists using our app. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest to see instructional videos and demos of how to use all of the amazing features that are in Vinci Eye. To get started with AR mode, you will need to create an anchor. An anchor locks your reference image in place, so you can move your phone or your canvas, and as long as the anchor is in the camera's view, your reference image will align itself back perfectly with what you were drawing. To get started, take a business card-sized piece of paper, or larger. Then take a black marker and do your best Jackson Pollock impression. Make a lot of squiggles with many intersecting points and different shapes. The more tiny little details, the better. The larger you make your anchor, the further away from your canvas you can have the phone and still have accurate placement. It's a good idea to tape your anchor in place on your paper before you draw. This ensures that your reference image will always be in the right place. You should be prompted to make an anchor right away. However, if you want to make a new anchor, press Tools, then AR, then Anchors. To upload your anchor, press Add Anchor in the top right corner of the screen. Press the purple button at the bottom of the screen to bring up the camera. Make sure your camera is perfectly level with the anchor. You don't want to have it tilted like this or like this, or else it could distort your overlay image when it is projected onto your paper. When you're finished taking a picture, press the OK button at the bottom right corner of the screen. Next, you need to crop your anchor. Drag the corners of the cropping frame to the edges of your anchor. Make sure there is no background visible. Then, press Crop at the top right corner of the screen. The last step is to measure your anchor. Make sure that it is at least 3.5 inches or 8 centimeters wide. Now press Done. Now press Use Anchor. Your image should now appear on top of the anchor whenever the anchor is in view. Do not hold the phone in your hand and try to draw. You can easily make a stand out of objects found around your house, like with tape and a tall glass, tape and a tall spray can. You can also purchase an inexpensive stand like this one. A link to stands that we recommend can be found in the app. If your camera is not in focus, press Tools, then Camera, and then Fix Focus. This will refocus the camera to your paper. Your image will appear in the center of your anchor. To position your image on your paper, use 2 fingers to zoom out so you can see your paper as a whole. Then press the Move button, and using 1 finger, you can pan your image. Using 2 fingers, you can enlarge, shrink, and rotate your image. When you're done, make sure to press the Move button again to lock the image in proportion so you can zoom in to draw fine details, or you can zoom out to see your drawing as a whole. Now you can adjust the opacity. Press the opacity button in the bottom right corner of the screen to make the image more or less transparent. To apply image filters, go to Tools, then Filters, and then press the Filters button. Filters can make your image easier to draw by helping you see different elements more clearly. You can also use the Breakdown tool by going to Tools, then Breakdown, and then Setup. This lets you break down your image into layers by color value. This is great for turning any image into a paint by numbers tutorial, or if you're an advanced artist, it can help you analyze the no-tan or structure and composition of your artwork. To use the strobe feature, go to Tools, then Strobe. This tool slowly flashes the overlay image on and off, allowing you to easily compare color values of your reference image to your drawing. This is one of the most powerful tools in the entire app. To get to the last absolutely need-to-know feature, press Tools, then slide all the way to the right and press Record. Then turn the record switch on. This lets you record awesome time lapses of your artwork without the overlay, just like this one. Make sure if you post your time-lapse videos on social media to tag us at DaVinciEye for a repost. If you need help with anything, you can always press the help question mark in the top right corner of the screen. From there, you can check out our frequently asked questions, watch instructional videos, and even email us. We usually respond extremely fast emails and love to hear from artists and aspiring artists using the app. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest to see instructional videos and demos how to use all the awesome features DaVinciEye has built in.
Sorry, I always forget to put on the mic. Welcome back. Now that our break is over, I hope that you had enough time to have a snack and stretch your legs. But before I get started or continue on what we just left off, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. My name's Charity Low. I have been drawing as long as I can remember because my mom's an artist too. She is the one who got me started in my career. And then I've been doing art, commission art, selling artwork since 2019. And it went pretty good. And I've noticed that the Vinci Eye App kept on pushing my artwork on there, putting my artwork on their Instagram. And my brother told me to ask him for a job. So that's why I'm here. I got a job. So yeah, I'm a portrait artist that happened to ask, and now I'm here. So I am not the developer. That's somebody else named Sam. He's the brains behind all of this. So thank you. If you guys have any questions throughout this video or you just want to chat, go ahead and comment in the chat. I will respond to it as soon as I see it. Well, can't wait for people to talk to me, so I'm going to just hop right back into it. So I think we've got all of the little stray hairs that we need to get. There's actually one more down here that I want to get real quick. Just a little teeny tiny one. We can start adding some more shadowing to get some shadowing and get some more depth to the rest of the drawing here. So I'm gonna start off, I think I need to add a little bit of red, a dark red. Let me just take a look. Is it a dark red? Which one is it? I think the closest color that I see is actually like a deep red. So let's grab that. Do we have it already? Let's see. And that is only in here that I see it. So I'm going to add that red right in here. Light pressure and circular motions. So we're looking at the second darkest colors, right? I mean, the second lightest colors that we see. We're not adding super dark colors quite yet. And then this section right here, I think I need to add more indents for this one because it's just really bright and then really dark. There's no mid-tones really here, so let's just add a bunch more hair. And then let's add some brown to it. Right up against that scarf, we want to add that brown. And I think I just might do a lighter pressure all around the edge here. I did quite a bit darker right underneath the scarf. Now we're just slowly building up the shadows. I'm trying to do circular motions for the most part and using the side of the pencil. These both of these tricks help with like a nice smooth texture once you're done. I think I might add a few more lines right where I put those, where I put the red. I'm gonna add some more indents here too. And then add some brown, nice and dark, right up against that scarf. And then we can slowly get lighter as we get further away from the scarf. And let's move to the next section. I think I might add a little bit of that red again, right up here. Let me see. Yes, that's the same red. So light pressure and circular motions. And then I think we're going to add some gray in some areas. And then add some more of those indents. And then we can add some brown. Right underneath that scarf. We're just going to do circular motions. Because we did the indents earlier, we don't really have to worry a whole bunch about preserving any highlights because we already got them down. It's all good. I feel like I could have done more. I could have done more indents. And move over to the next section, still adding brown. Let's make sure we have enough indents here. Moving down a little bit further. Right in here is a nice dark brown. So we're going to fill that in. And I'm still trying to do circular motions and using the side of the pencil. Okay, I want to start working less on the hair and more on the forehead. We can work a little bit more on the hair later. Is that fine? I don't know how good that is. I'm not sure if I like what I did with the hair, but we'll try to work it out a bit better a little later. So we need to do the forehead and the eyebrows. Strobe on. Okay, no, we gotta turn the strobe off. Turn up the opacity. And then turn the strobe on. There we go. So the next thing we're going to need to do is we're going to look at the lightest sections of the face. There is a little bit of blue and a little bit of cream, like very light blue. And we're just going to lightly go over these areas, doing circular motions and light pressure. And it's just all over those highlights is where I see this slight blue. So the brightest colors are the base. The darkest colors are the details. So we want to get the base down first. We want to kind of build the structure. And then we can go over with some details. So let's go and get some cream colored in here too. Again, light pressure and circular motions, and we're just getting right where those highlights are to start. Okay, now we're going to look at the next lightest color that's not right where those bright highlights are. And it's a very light tan color. I think I have it set aside here. So we're going to add this in areas that don't have the brightest colors in it. So light, pressure, and circular motions. Doing the light pressure and slowly building it up allows you to change the color or the placement of things a little easier, because pencils aren't really like super forgiving. Nothing like graphite pencils are. So just take your time. You also want to have your pencils nice and sharp when doing this. So light pressure and circular motions. This is a great habit to get into because it will help you with other projects, especially projects that are really smooth, have really smooth texture. Get a lot of semi-trucks down the road that's next to us because we're on one of the major highways to our closest bordering neighbor. Okay, now let's look for the next darkest color, which is that darker tan. But I only really see this, on the left side of the face. Just light pressure and circular motions, trying to avoid where those highlights are. We can do a transition shade, which is just another like outline of the sections you're working on with an even lighter pressure, just to kind of help it transition nicely. You don't get a very blocky look. So really just trying to build up the structure. Now, what other colors do we see? We see that orange color. I'm gonna add a little bit of this orange. It's not in a whole bunch of places, but I'm just gonna add a little bit here and there. Kind of see them more in the detailed work than I do as a general color. Is it starting to take shape? How do you think it looks? And then there's some of this really nice warm brown too, more in the shadows. So we're going to add a little bit of that as well. Circular pressure and, circular motions and light pressure. See a lot of this warm brown in this little shadow right here. So I'm going to add quite a bit here. Circular motions, light pressure, just slowly building up color and shadows, allowing us to have a little bit of leeway just in case we need to change anything. And a little bit in here. I think we can start adding some brown. And now we're starting to get more into the detailed work. I'm going to zoom into some smaller sections here so I can get a little bit more detailed work. Make sure your pencils are sharp. I'm going to use an electric pencil sharpener. I'm still wanting to do some circular motions. I'm not doing super detailed stuff at the moment, but I am getting into smaller sections, so smaller circular motions will do the job. And again, you still just want to keep that light pressure so you can add more to it. If you fill in the paper right away, you're not going to be able to make any adjustments, put any more layers on, and you're going to get kind of stuck in a place you don't want to be stuck in. And we can add a few details while we're at it too. If it's the same color that you're using, go ahead and put those in. Just very light pressure. For these little wrinkles and lines, I'm kind of just sketching back and forth. They don't have to be a consistent line going all the way through. It could be a little bit broken or even thicker in some areas. I'm starting to add a few little details. She doesn't have a whole bunch of eyebrow. I'm going to add a few little hairs. Let's move over and start working on some other sections. So when we're sketching out these lines, they don't have to be connected. They don't have to be consistent all the way through. It could be a little thicker in some areas. There's almost kind of some webbing going on too, or branching off, whatever you want to call it. There's some parts where the wrinkle separates into different little branches. Adding a few pores there too, just dotting it on the page. And I'm not too worried about the exact placement of these. That's just too much work, even for me. Now, make sure you're only putting these dark colors where you see those dark colors. Like there are some very prominent lines and wrinkles that look dark, but they aren't really as dark as you think they are. So just be aware of that. It's just, it looks dark and it's very noticeable because it's a very light area. I'm sorry. You guys gotta talk to me. I need people to talk to me. There's so many projects that I'm currently doing and others that I really want to do. We bought a house, so I would really like to do some murals in my house. And then for my projects for this week, I'm doing some crafting tables and paint parties weekly, and this coming Saturday, 2 days, we're going to be doing a paint party at my house, and we're painting on some mason jars using glass paint. And then on this coming Tuesday, I'll be going to my local's farmer's market as a booth and doing a craft table of stained glass painting. So there's a lot of things that I'm doing. So Monday's a normal day, Tuesday I go to the farmer's market, Wednesday is a normal day, Thursday I do a live, Friday's a normal day, and Saturday I do paint parties at my house. I am so busy, and then it's not even including all of the other like family stuff that we're going to plan to do this summer. So Which reminds me, for this month, I should be live every Thursday. And I think I'm supposed to be live every August on Thursdays too. But then, and then I should be live every Thursday in September as well. But might change depending on what's going on. The only thing that I'll be missing are the farmers markets, I guess. So I have an interesting setup for the farmers market. I have a whole bunch of arts and crafts that I've done for advertisements and tutorials and lives and stuff like that. So I have one table that's selling this stuff. And I have a little tiny table for people to test out the app. So I do like live in-person demos for people. And then we have the crafting tables with pre-traced designs so that the projects can go by super fast. They don't take super long to complete. Just slowly building up the shadows and the colors with light layers. Just take your time. We're not in a rush. Listen to some really nice, soft and relaxing music if that's something you're into. It's a great time to unwind from all of the day's stresses. I'm going to add a little bit more color. We're going to go right into some dark red, especially in these really dark sections of the face. Make sure your pencils are sharp. So I see this dark red right underneath the scarf. So I'm going to follow that scarf line here. So a little tip about really dark sections. You want to try to minimize black as best as possible. You might need to use it, but you want to try to stick to like dark reds and dark greens mixed together for really dark sections of the skin. It just keeps your skin, like the skin you're drawing, alive still. If you use black or really dark brown, it just kind of starts to look a little dull and dead. You want to have some of that nice warm. And then also like why red and green is that your skin tone is nice and warm, and the darker areas are just, they look a little red. But green is the complementary color, which makes it darker. And then also blue and green are kind of like the undertones where like the veins and stuff pop up, and that's why green works so well with red for dark sections. Our skin is super colorful. We got such a wide range of colors in our skin. So you know those paintings that they're portrait paintings, but they have unusual colors for the shadows and highlights and stuff like that. Very bright, vivid colors. For the most part, they're just using the undertones. Like they just erase all the skin tone, and then they focus on like the undertones that would pop up if we just removed all the skin tone. Does that make any sense? And then they have, of course, creative license into changing things up a little bit more to make them more interesting to look at. But that's essentially how it starts. I'm not sure if this hair is looking really good. I can't tell quite yet. And it's making me a little nervous. Just a little. How does it look on the screen? Is it looking pretty good? We've got that dark red in here, so we're going to add that. Even in the really, really dark section, I see that dark red as well. Lighter pressure for the lighter sections and a little bit of heavier pressure for the darker sections. You also start to see a little bit of shadows coming from the hair too. But they also just kind of really blend into the wrinkles as it is. So it's a little difficult to see it, a little bit. I see it. I see the little shadows from the hair. And then to do a transition color, you just got to do the layer pressure all the way around that section that you were just working on. And a few wrinkles up here too. And just do nice and tight circular motions for some that aren't really super sharp lines. When they're sharper, we can do more side to side motions. So if you're doing larger areas, do larger circular motions. If you're doing smaller areas, do smaller circular motions. And then if you're doing lines, you can kind of sketch back and forth on those lines. And we don't want to have like a consistent line with these wrinkles. So you can have them a little bit thicker in some areas. You can have it break apart a little bit, just detach and then start again. We're getting so close, at least in the structural sense, and then we got to do all the finer details like this pores and the little wrinkles and crinkles. Now we can go in with some dark green to get some of those sections even darker. And I mostly want to stick closer to the edge of the face for this. So we can go over that red. Let's move over. And then we can add a little bit of black, not a whole bunch, just enough. So doing it even in less areas than where we put the green. Okay, now we can really focus on the finer details. So for each section that you are working on, study how the light interacts with the shadows. See if, like, I'm gonna show you this if I can. Let's turn off the strobe for a minute. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see this. Okay, so the shadows, there's a sharp line, and the highlight is directly on the right side of that sharp line, and then the shadow kind of fades out towards the left. So that's something that you kind of want to look at when you are working on more details. Do you see that? And then also from top to bottom, that light, it kind of looks like the highlight is right next to the sharp line on the bottom, and then it kind of fades out on the top. So the really dark lines right underneath it is just quickly, it's really light, and then it shines. Do you see that? Do you see what I'm talking about? I don't know if you guys can. Might be something that'd be easier to do in a one-on-one lesson. I don't know why I grabbed my electric eraser. Let's use a brown. We're going to work on the eyebrow for now. So we're going to get some of those little dots where the pores are. And then get some of those sharper lines too. Just make some of these lines have a nice dark. Get them nice and dark and sharp for now, and then we can kind of soften up the edges a little bit later. And I'm going to go in with some dark tan too. Let me take a closer look at where the shadows are underneath. So it actually looks like the shadows are over top of the lines. So I'm going to do a dark semicircle over some of these pores that I put down. And then I'm also going to use some of those, like make some more pores using that darker tan as well, just to give it a little bit more texture. And then I'm also going to make a few more lines in the eyebrow as well, using this. Do I need to add some more colors to this section? Do I need to add more detail to it? Just really thinking. Maybe a few little hairs that need to be added to this still. So I'm using a little bit of gray to add a few hairs to this eyebrow. I need to use a bit of red because I noticed that there is a really obvious wrinkle right here that needs to be defined. There's a few that still need to be darker still, so let's work on getting those. And then we're going to put in some more warm brown to just light pressure and circular motions. I just feel like it needs to be slightly darker, but it needs to be warm. It needs to be a live color. Should we try to finish that little bit off? I think we can blend that in and make it look like it belongs to the rest of the face. Okay, let's take that colorless pencil for blending. I'm going to kind of go, like do circular motions around these pores so that it looks like it's actually in the face instead of just dots floating over top of the face. We want those to be nice and blended in. We want to soften up the edges. And then we're going to follow the lines of the hair on the eyebrow so that we don't lose that texture. We're going to kind of follow the lines of the wrinkles too. And then we can do circular motions for the rest of it. Now, let's bring up some of the highlights. And let's look at seeing where that highlight is the brightest in comparison to the wrinkle, which is, again, on the left side is what we saw before. I'm using the electric eraser to do this. So right up against the left side of these wrinkles is what we're going to pull up. And it doesn't have to be consistent lines. It could be broken up. It could be thicker in some sections and thinner in others. It all helps with creating the texture of the skin. And not all pencils can do this, so do some research. And there are pros and cons to every type of pencil that there are, so you gotta figure out what matters most to you before you invest in something that's higher quality. And then we're going to take this white pencil and we're going to go over those highlights with that. And we're putting quite a bit of pressure on it now, so yeah. And then we can also add a few little white highlights. You can do a little bit underneath each of the dark pores too, also using that white pencil. Just I'm doing little circles, give it a little bit more texture. Okay, now let's work on some more detail right at the middle of the eyebrows. Let's start off with a dark tan. And we're going to start adding some detail. These are mostly lines. We can do some circular motions and some lines. We're trying to preserve the highlights. We're just doing some light pressure, okay? I think I might go in with a little bit of lighter tan as well. Kind of doing little oval shapes in those highlighted areas. And then I'm going to add a little bit of this bright orange too, because it does have some bright orange in here. That's just making it come to life a little bit more. There's not a whole bunch of it, but this little bit makes a big difference. And then let's use a little bit of brown to get some of these details in, like the little pores. Just doing a few little circles in some areas. You don't see these little dots everywhere on the face, so you don't need to bring them everywhere on the face either. So there's like a section that's got a lot of pores and then it kind of fades outwards. Let's zoom out. Still got a long ways to go, but let's take a look at this. Turn off the strobe for a minute. So there's the reference and there's the drawing. So we got a long way to go still. We are getting closer to being done the face. I would like to say that it's gonna go by faster after that, but there is a lot of detail in her clothing that she's wearing too. So it's definitely gonna be a longer piece. Would really like to see your guys' artwork in the slideshows in the future. The noise outside is horrible. I'm sorry. So send me some of your artwork in my email. The email's in the description below. So send me as many drawings as you want. Give me your tag that you want me to put in the description to give you credit for those. I have a promo code in the description as well for a free 3-month trial. So if you don't have the app and you'd like to try the app, that is a good thing to look into just to make sure that you love the app as much as I love the app. If you have any needs for tech support, please contact the app developer at info@davinciieapp.com. Join the Facebook group, Da Vinci Eye Apps group. You can interact with other artists, and then also I host competitions and challenges on a yearly basis. So an opportunity to win some cash, maybe get some money back for your yearly subscription and some. So, yeah. Is there anything else that I need to go through? I am currently doing a challenge this summer. I'm going to be posting a challenge every Friday for 10 weeks. And you only need to do 5 out of the 10 challenges to get entered into a draw for a chance to win a cash prize, which I believe I'm going to be doing $100 US. So, and then also if you want me to draw something in particular, like a family member or a pet, I am more than willing to do that for you for these lives, and I will even mail the finished piece to you with no charge whatsoever if that's something you want me to do. But anyways, I really do appreciate all of the support I get. I know it's not a whole bunch, but it does mean a whole bunch to me. So you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you next week, every Thursday from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. So, yeah, see ya.